This conference will
So
now be recorded.
in the last session, we have learned how to save the files in Docker even after the container is deleted by attaching a volume that's called as Docker volumes. We also have seen how to preserve the softwares by converting the status of a container into an image. By converting status of a container into an image, you can preserve the softwares. When you want the same image, again, you can run the image, and then what happens, you can get the container back. So customized images, we have learned it, and there are two ways of creating customized images. There are two ways of creating customized images. What we have seen yesterday is Docker commit command. That's one way. The more better way of creating customized images by using Docker file. So what is Docker file? How can we use this Docker file for creating customized images? We'll be discussing it in today's session. Okay. So let's first log into AWS. Docker host. Let's connect. Okay. Always, we know we need to work from the hash prompt. A Docker file is a simple text file. A Docker file is nothing but a simple text file which contains predefined keywords. That keywords helps us using these predefined keywords, we can create customized images. So what are the keywords? How can we use these keywords and how can we customize using these keywords and Docker file? Let's experience. Can you see we have some keywords here from maintainer, CND stands for command instruction, entry point, run, user, working directory, copy, add, environment, expose, volume, label, stop signal. So these are our keywords. Using these keywords, what we do, we create a Docker file, and when using the Docker file, what we do, we create a customized images. So all this will be very clear when we look at the examples. Okay, look here. Create a Docker file using Nginx as a base image. See, what we are doing, we are creating customized images. We are creating customized images. How can we create customized images? By taking the base images. Base images are nothing but the predefined images. Always we take from base image, make some changes as per the requirements, and then convert that into customized image. It could be changes, could be creating some files, installing some softwares, whatever it is. And then we create a customized image. And this customized image, client will use it. User, development team will use it. So whenever, and this process is possible by creating a Docker file. Look at this now. I want to create a Docker file using Nginx as a base image. What's the base image? Using Nginx as a base image, we want to create a Docker file. And I want to specify the maintainer. Maintainer is nothing but author. Very simple. Maintainer is nothing but author. So author of the person who is creating a customized images. So I want to maintain it as an organization name, something called Logic Labs, and construct an image from the Docker file. So what we'll do, we'll create a Docker file, run the Docker file, so the image gets created. In the Docker file, we use a base image. For example, look at this. Creating customized images using Docker file. So look at this. What I'm doing in this command vim. So I'm creating a file. What's the name of the file? Docker file. It's good practice. You can write anything, but it's good practice to name it as Docker file. Okay, file got created. In this particular file, how many instructions, how many keywords you are using? From and maintainer. That's it. It's a 2-line file. Put insert mode. Paste. Escape :W to save and quit. Docker file got created. What is the construct? How many instructions we're having into Docker file? 2. One is from base image. Maintain is nothing but the person who is creating a Docker file. So you can write your name or you can write the organization name. Now, once the Docker file is created, what we want to do? We want to build an image, our own image from the Docker file. So what I'll do, Docker build is a command which helps you to build our own image. When you're creating an image, you need to mention your name, your image name, isn't it? Nginx is the base image, and now I'm customizing it. That's why I'm writing it as my Nginx. T for tag. Tagging is nothing but providing the name for the image. Space dot. Dot refers to the Docker file present in the current working directory. Dot always refers to current working directory. So it takes the Docker file present in the current working directory, runs that Docker file, and then what happens? The image gets created. What's the name of the image? My Nginx. Done. Now, how to see list of images? Can you see? Successfully tagged as my Nginx. T for mentioning the tag. Tag is nothing but name of the image. Dot stands for current working directory. My Nginx is nothing but the name of the image. Now, how to see images? We know Docker image ls or Docker images. Scroll up. You have a lot of images. You can see my Nginx is the image which I created. Customized image. Customized image. Obviously, there is no much difference in this. We have just mentioned maintainer as the name, but this is a process of creating customized image. Process of creating customized image. Let's look at one more example. Look at the requirement. Whenever I start a container from the image, what we'll do, we run the image. What happens when you run the image? When you run the image, what we'll do, we get a container. Point is, whenever I start my container, I want one program to get executed. I want program on instance command to get executed. Whenever I start my container, some process I want, some command that gets executed. So that's the requirement. Now look at we have a command instruction. Command instruction, you use it to specify the initial command that should be executed when a container starts. When a container starts, you want a particular command to get executed. When a container starts, you want a particular command to be executed. In that case, we provide a command instruction. 1 minute, please. One minute, please. Give me 1 minute. I am in call. I just end the call. And then. So command instruction is used to run an initial command. So what I'll do, look at this. I'm creating a Docker file with a command instruction. VIM Docker file. I don't want these two instructions, so I go to insert mode. From what CentOS as base image. Maintainer, you already know, Logic Labs. The new thing what I'm doing is a command instruction. What is the effect of command instruction? Let's experience :WQ to save and quit. Docker file image is been created. What is the name of the image? My CentOS. How to see list of images? We already know it. Docker image ls. My CentOS has been created. Once the image is created, I can run the container from the image. That's nothing new. We already did. Docker run image name my CentOS. IT stands for interactive terminal. Interactive terminal. What happens? Container gets created. Control will enter into the container. But observe here. What is getting executed? Date command getting executed. So what is the importance of the command instruction? When the requirement is whenever you want, whenever a container gets created, you want some command to get executed. How is it possible? Automatically you want some command to be executed. How is it possible? By using the command instruction, it is possible. By using the command instruction, it is possible. Okay. Okay, let's move to next example. Okay. One Docker file can have only one command instruction. That's a restriction. If you give two command instruction, it executes the latest one. So let's say if the requirement is the team needs, let's say requirement is you want 2, 3, 4 commands to be executed. But the point is, even though you write the command, for example, look at this. Let's open the Docker file. Insert mode. I add the last command instruction. Done. So 2 command instructions. So what I'll do, run the image. As we have 2 command instructions, sorry, what one is date, the other one is ls-ls. So are you getting date here? You're not getting the date here. You can see ls-ls to see list of all the files. We're getting ls-ls. So remember that only one command instruction is possible. That's the restriction what we have using the command keyword. So the point is, whenever you want a command to get executed automatically, in that case we go for command instruction. In a Ubuntu container, I want to install Git init. In a Ubuntu container, I want to install a Git init. So you want to have a software. You want a container with a Git installed. So what Ubuntu container? The base image is Ubuntu. So okay, so let's remove the Docker file. Let's create a fresh Docker file again. Insert. Created a Docker file. So what I'm doing here, run command, run instruction I'm providing. Run is used for installing softwares. Look at this. Run is used for running Linux commands within the container, generally helpful for installing softwares inside the container. You want to install software. When you want to install software, do you remember we update apt repository and then we install the required software. So using run command instruction. So what I'm doing, I'm running the commands. Look at this. Update the apt repository, install git init. Okay, so I have created a Docker file. Next, what I'm doing, I'm running the Docker file. When you run the Docker file, what will happen? The image gets created. See what it is happening? The run command getting instructed. Apt repository is getting updated. When it is getting updated at the time of creating the image, till now you are not created a container. We are creating an image. Yes. So the update command apt repository is getting updated. Get is installed. So the point is, command instruction will run when the container starts. From when the container starts, here the run command gets executed at the time of running the container. Run command gets executed at the time of creating the container. Not run, sorry. Command instruction gets executed when you're creating a container, but run instruction gets executed when you're creating an image. When you want some image, it's software. I'm using that using run. So image gets executed. Image got created. When you run the image, observe what happens now. Interact terminal. I want to check whether this particular container is having Git or not. Git hyphen hyphen. Is it available? Yes. Exit to come out of the image from that to the Docker host. So using, when should we use run instruction? Run instruction, we should use it when you want, the client says that I want an image, customers or development team says that I want an image. It's software 1, software 2, software 3. So create a Docker file. They say that I want a Ubuntu with some 1, 2, 3 software. Create a Docker file from Ubuntu, maintainer your name or organization name, using the run command instructions. Mention the list of mention the list of commands that should get executed. Create an image that becomes a customized image. From that image, whenever you run a container, you have that software already readily available in the container. So that's the beauty of the run command instructions. Okay, you can also perform version controlling on the Docker file. Do you remember? We have done version controlling in Git. We have learned how to perform version controlling in Git. And we know that the version controlling is actually done by the developers, not by us, because they maintain the source code. But in the interview, they ask you, have you anytime did version controlling by creating commits, moving it to local repository, and again rolling back to the commits? Have you done it? If yes, when did you do it? You can say that, yes, I have performed version controlling on my code. Our code is nothing but Docker file which you are writing. You can perform version controlling on the Docker file. When client says that I don't want this version, I want the previous status of the image, you can roll back to that particular Docker file. Let's experience how exactly we can do it. Look at this. I'm creating a folder called Docker. Moving the Docker file which I have just created into the Docker folder. Enter into the directory. Obviously, we'll have one file called as Docker file. Git init. Initialize the current folder into working directory. When you initialize current folder into working directory, what happens? Git status, everything is an untracked file. We have only one file called as an untracked file. Git add dot. We'll move it into staging area and moving it to local repository by creating an commit. I think we need to
You're using
configure.
Docker command. You have to remove the Docker.
Sorry. We need to do configurations. Whenever you want to commit, we need to perform configurations. Configuring the username. Now run the git commit. We are creating a local commit called as a perfect working directory is clean. Next, I will make some changes in the Docker file. Open the Docker file. Insert. Previously it was Git. I am also installing JDK. I am modifying my source code. Escape : WQ, save and quit. Whenever you modify the source code, it becomes again an untracked file, isn't it? It's an untracked file. Previously, it was only Git, updating the repository Git. I am installing JDK also as per the client requirement. Let's say they want some extra software. I have installed JDK, so I'm moving it into local repository. I'm creating a B commit. Now, obviously, if you look at the Docker file, obviously you get the latest one. You get the latest one. This is a Docker file with Ubuntu base image with software 1 git install, software 2 JDK install. Now client says that no, I don't want JDK, I want only git. You want to roll back to the previous version, you can do that. Okay. How to see list of all the commits? We know git log -1 line to see list of all the commits. A commit and B commit. B commit is the latest commit, head pointing to best commit. So if you want to roll back to previous commit, as we know, we have the commit ID. Take a note of the commit ID. Now the head is pointing to. And now if you look at the Docker file, you will not get the latest one. You get the older version with only git installed. You will not find Java. See, apt install git. You are not getting JDK. So you are maintaining the version. So you can see that. You can say that I'm maintaining the version controlling on my Docker file. So whenever client makes some changes, the development team gives the new requirement. We make some changes in the Docker file. We make a commit. And again, development team says that no, we want the older requirements back. So you can roll back and again run the image so the container gets created. So you can perform a version control. Okay, let's look at one more example. Look at this. Try to understand. Create a Docker file using Ubuntu base image. Fine. Install Java. Okay, by using run instruction, we can install Java. I also want to download the file called as jenkins.var in the image. We want file to be downloaded. What file? Jenkins.var is file. And want, do you remember java-jar jenkins.var is a command to start Jenkins? I want that command to be executed as a default process. What is default process? Now, how can you make a particular command as a default process? All this, let's try to understand. Listen here carefully. This is important. Understanding the default process of a particular container is very, very important. Please have a look at it. Every Docker image comes with a default process. Every image, every image comes with a default process. As long as the process is running, the container will be in running state. All this I'll show you practical. Every container comes with a default process. As long as default process is running, the container will be running. When the default process stops, the container will be closed. If by the moment the default process closed, that means not running, the container will be exited. Okay, I'll show you this practical. Look here. Okay. These are all observations. What I'm doing in this command, creating a container. Name of the container is C1. Using what image? Ubuntu. Okay. IT, interactive terminal. Container gets created. Control will enter into the container. Okay. Yes. How to come out of the container? You can come out of the container by using Control PQ. Okay. The container is running in the background. First container, what container is running in the background? First one is what container? Ubuntu. Ubuntu is running in the background. Next. Jenkins container I want to start. Docker run, name of the image Jenkins, name of the container J1, detached mode, port mapping. Second container. Okay. Jenkins container is started. Two containers are running. The point is, listen here. I want to open interactive terminal in Jenkins. I want to enter into Jenkins. Like how IT is used, interactive terminal, whenever you create an Ubuntu container, you can enter into a container by using interactive terminal. In the same way, I want to enter Jenkins. Docker execute is a command. You need to explicitly run a command called execute. IT stands for interactive terminal. What container you want to enter into Jenkins? Bash is nothing but terminal, bash terminal. The name of the terminal is bash terminal. So you need to run this command to enter into a Jenkins container. So now you enter into Jenkins container. Now listen here carefully. In Ubuntu container, you can directly use IT instruction to in the terminal. See, at the time of creating the container only, I have used IT stands for interactive terminal. Container gets created and entering into the container. But for Jenkins, even though if you write IT here, it's not possible. Even though you create a Jenkins container and you want to immediately enter into Jenkins by using IT, it will not be possible. In Jenkins, I need to run one extra command called execute. Why? What's the problem? So one container. If it is Ubuntu, I can enter into the container. Whereas if it is Jenkins, I cannot enter into the container at the time of creating the container. I need to run one extra command. The reason behind this is try to understand. Let's try to do it. What is IT? Interactive terminal. Container gets created. J2, I will enter into container, but it will not run. You will not get an interactive terminal. Look at this. Okay, this is I'm inside the container. Observe what happens. You're getting a log messages. Are you entering into the container? No, you're not entering into the containers. We are getting log messages. See, we are not getting an interactive terminal. Okay, let's experience one more point. One minute. I want to run a Tomcat container. Okay, now we have three containers: Jenkins, Ubuntu, Tomcat. The point is, every container comes with a default process. That's my require. That's most important point. This is container which is running, and I want to explain about the default process. Every container comes with a default process. What is the default process of Ubuntu? What is the default process of Jenkins? What is the default process of Tomcat? Let's see that. Now look at this. Docker container ls to see list of all the containers. Okay. Ubuntu, Jenkins, Tomcat. Under the command, you can see the default process. For Ubuntu, the default process is /bin/bash. What is bash? Bash is a terminal. For Ubuntu, the default process is /bin/bash. Okay. For Jenkins, what is the default process? This one. /bin/tini. Some default process. For Tomcat, what is the default process? Catalina.sh run. Now we came to know every container comes with a default process. Every container comes with a default process. What is the default process for Ubuntu /bash/bin? Sorry, /bin/bash. Bash is a terminal. Terminal itself is a default process. As terminal is a default process, when you write IT interact terminal, you are entering into the terminal. Whereas in Jenkins, you are unable to enter into a container because it's not the default process. Terminal is not the default process. Some other process is the default process. Tomcat also, Catalina.sh is the default process. So every container comes with the default process. Okay. It tells you that as long as the default process is getting executed, the container will be running. So this is what we have taken a note of it. Bash is nothing but a terminal. For Linux based containers, Ubuntu is a Linux based Ubuntu, or we have one more that had this kind of containers. Default process is shell process. The shell process is nothing but bash shell, bourne shell, etc. As the terminal itself is a default process, you can enter into the container. Hence, we are able to enter into container in the IT mode. Okay. Now, my requirement is, can I change the default process of the containers? Yes, you can do that. You can change the default process of a container by using entry point instruction. By using entry point instruction for Ubuntu, I want to change the default process. What is the current process for Ubuntu /bash/bin? But I want to change it to other process. What is the other process you want to change to? I want to change to java-jar jenkins.var. This is what I want to do. This is what I want the default process, not /bin/bin. You can change the default process, yes, by using entry point instruction. So entry point instruction is all about changing the default process of a particular container. So how can we do it? So let's open the Docker file. First, updating the apt repository, installing jdk. Add is an instruction. Add is instruction which is helping you to download a particular file. Whatever the file you want, you can download it. Jenkins.var file, I want to download it using the URL. This is a URL. How did I get the URL? Download Jenkins. Copy link address. This is the link address. Here somewhere I have copied. This is the link address. That you prefix it with add. Any website, whatever the download command, whatever the file you want, download it using add instruction, you can download it. So I'm downloading it, and then I'm changing the entry point using that and mentioning the default process. Okay, escape :wq to save and quit. Now what I'll do, build the image from the Docker file. Switch. Is it disconnected? Should not take this much time. Okay, let's open one more terminal. Not getting connected. It's like some network issue. See, now when you create an image, now when you create an image gets created when you run the image from the customized container. The default process, you get the log messages of Jenkins. What does that mean when you're getting a log messages of Jenkins? That means that you have successfully changed the default process of Ubuntu from one particular standard default process to customized process. It's possible. It's possible. So that's using the default process. That's what I want to show you in today's session. Looks like some problem. Okay, so this example we'll see it in tomorrow's class, changing the default process. Okay, and then we'll learn about how to continue with Docker registry. How can we upload our own images into the Docker registry? This we'll discuss it in a tomorrow's class. Okay, so tomorrow we'll discuss about the default process of a container, changing the default process, and then we'll deal with Docker registry. Then we do move to container orchestration called as Docker Swarm. Okay, so that's our plan for a tomorrow session. Any questions on today's session? Okay, thank you. Bye everybody. I'll mail you these notes. Thank you, Dinesh.